In the shadows of the city, a tale unfolds of a group that sought power through intimidation. They were not merely another faction in London's underbelly. These young men were armed and dangerous, driven by a relentless pursuit of respect. Known in the digital realm as the Wyo Gang, they wielded knives and guns, capturing their exploits on film, showcasing a life steeped in threats, violence, and ill-gotten gains. Yet, beneath the bravado and the beats lay a grim reality, marked by genuine suffering and countless victims. In a tranquil lane of Essex, what began as an ordinary rendezvous to purchase mobile phones spiraled into an unexpected eruption of chaos. £4. The rhythm of drill music transformed into a call to arms. Young souls, fresh from the halls of education, found themselves captivated by the allure of the Wyo lifestyle promise of quick riches, fleeting fame, and an audacious bravado. Yet, beneath the surface of this enticing facade lay a harsh truth. The life of the gang was fraught with peril and uncertainty. The police kept a vigilant eye as rival gangs prowled, their members growing bolder, brandishing real weapons in plain sight, some even loaded. The Wyo Gang was not alone. They were woven into a broader tapestry of London crews, entangled in age-old feuds and territorial skirmishes that had already exacted a heavy toll. While some viewed drill music as a form of artistic expression, law enforcement perceived it as a gateway into the depths of serious organized crime. The pivotal moment arrived not through a music video, but on an Essex street in late 2023, marking a significant turn in the unfolding narrative. On the evening of Monday, the 20th of November, 2023, the small town of nestled on the edge of Essex, appeared to be wrapped in a blanket of tranquility. Yet, behind the closed doors of a seemingly ordinary meeting, shadows were gathering. 3 men had come together with the intention of purchasing mobile phones, an endeavor that seemed simple enough. However, lurking in the darkness was not a seller, but a carefully orchestrated ambush. The notorious Wyo Gang had journeyed from South London, armed with a plan that would soon unravel the calm of the night. In a dimly lit room, £4, 0 in cash lay on the table, a tempting prize for those with ill intentions. As the meeting commenced, chaos erupted. A gang struck with ruthless precision. One member brandished a gun, and in the ensuing turmoil, he swung the weapon, landing a brutal blow to a victim's face. The impact sent the loaded magazine clattering to the ground, a stark reminder of the violence that had just unfolded. The victims, left shaken and injured, watched helplessly as the assailants vanished into the night. Just moments before the police arrived, it was a daring and savage assault, yet it left behind close traces of the crime. The magazine, still lying there when law enforcement returned the following morning, hinted at a slip-up made by one of the suspects, a crack in their otherwise calculated plan. Officers stumbled upon 23-year-old Brian Odu, who insisted he was merely out to clean his shoes. However, he was found with a zombie knife and dressed in attire that unmistakably tied him to the robbery. He was promptly arrested. His phone, a seemingly innocuous device, opened the first door to a treasure trove of evidence of videos of gang members flaunting firearms, alluding to real-world violence, and boasting about their misdeeds. Yet, that was just the beginning. This single phone began to unravel a much larger narrative, connecting several individuals not only to the Ally robbery, but 2 far graver offences. The Cherry Orchard estate in London became the backdrop for a grim tale. 2 shootings echoed through the streets, the first leaving behind 9mm shell casings, yet no victim emerged from the shadows, and no identities were revealed. The second incident saw a man struck in the arm, a survivor bearing witness to the stark reality that this was not mere bravado. Samin had indeed pulled the trigger, sending a clear message through the air. The investigation unfolded like a gripping tale, revealing that footage retrieved from the phones of gang members intricately linked them to the very shootings in question. There were vivid images of weapons, references to specific events, and boasts that aligned perfectly with known crime scenes. This was a new era of self-incrimination, where criminals documented their own exploits in high definition for the world to witness. It was this audacity that made Willio so perilous. They were not lurking in the shadows, but rather seeking to carve out a name for themselves through sheer terror. They blurred the lines between reputation and reality, weaving a narrative of music and mayhem. Yet, what they failed to consider was the keen eye of the police, meticulously scrutinizing those very videos. Every clip, every track, every post became a vital piece of the unfolding puzzle. The crew had decided to step into the light. As the shadows of anonymity began to fade, by the close of 2023, the Willio gang had transformed from a mere concern in South London to a significant presence, capturing the attention of various police forces far and wide. The armed robbery in Ely marked a turning point. It transcended mere gang rivalries and online threats. This was a matter of firearms, genuine victims, and an escalating danger to the community. It was at this critical juncture that two formidable entities came together: Essex Police's Serious and Organised Crime Unit and the Met Police's Trident Gang Crime Command. The investigation unfolded into a tapestry of intricate joint operations, a narrative woven from the threads of meticulous detail that neither team had encountered in recent years. It transcended the mere pursuit of a single lead. It was about constructing a comprehensive portrait of a violent network that sprawled across borough lines, thriving on the currents of social media and bolstered by the weight of weaponry. Officers embarked on the journey of assembling the timeline, beginning with the forensic clues-loaded magazine abandoned at the scene of the Ely robbery. Then came the technological revelations, as phones seized from suspects, including Brian Odu, unleashed a torrent of digital evidence, illuminating the shadows of the case. Videos showcasing firearms with messages glorifying assault's melodies intertwined with the fabric of reality, where the bravado concealed a palpable intent to instill fear and assert control. Yet the virtual realm was merely one facet of the narrative. The officers commenced their careful observation of movements, footage captured from the bustling streets, vibrant shops, and busy train stations, alongside phone location data, reveals the presence of individuals close to the scenes of crime. Hours of CCTV footage unveiled a tale of suspects meeting, traveling, and regrouping, crafting a map not only of those involved, but also of their intricate operations. Then, in March 2024, the detectives made a pivotal connection, linking the Ely robbery with the Cherry Orchard shootings from months prior. The ammunition, the gang members, the videos all converged, revealing a singular narrative. No longer were these three incidents isolated. They formed one coordinated criminal conspiracy, sprawling across time and space. Yet, in the face of overwhelming evidence, some gang members persisted in their delusion of invincibility. In a world where online posts proliferated, drill videos surged, and threats echoed in the shadows, the authorities were quietly orchestrating a masterful response. Unbeknownst to those who believed they were untouchable, the police had shifted from a reactive stance to a proactive strategy. Lists of names emerged, warrants were meticulously crafted, and surveillance operations were already in motion. This was no longer merely about making arrests. It was a calculated effort to dismantle a group that had operated with reckless abandon for far too long. Each day, officers from both forces convened, sharing insights and advancing the case with unwavering determination. The noose tightened, and when the moment arrived, it would be decisive. By the dawn of spring 2024, the Willio gang would no longer lurk in the shadows. They would be exposed, monitored, and relentlessly pursued. The collaborative endeavour between Essex Police and the Met had borne fruit identities matched to faces, movements meticulously recorded, and hideouts pinpointed. What followed was a series of strategic strikes, executed with precision, aimed at neutralizing the gang before they could retaliate. The arrests commenced in December 2023 and continued until May of the following year. Each apprehension was the culmination of meticulous observation, often spanning days or even weeks. Officers bided their time, waiting for the perfect moment, whether it was catching a suspect returning to a familiar location or striking when they were least prepared. There was no room for error, no chance for oversight. One by one, the pieces aligned seamlessly. Brian Odu was the first piece to fall near the scene of the Ely robbery. He had already been tied to the crime through the knife he carried and the contents found on his phone. Then came. The courtroom held its breath, yet the list of offences echoed through the silence for individuals. Once upon a time, there was a figure known as Brian Odu Rocky Lidioga. On the very first day of the trial, Stephen Ayani and Gabriel Adipu stepped forward, their guilty pleas echoing through the courtroom, sparing the court from the burden of presenting the full weight of evidence against them. However, the story took a different turn for the final two defendants, Daffy Oregon and Karen Singh. As their case unfolded over an intense 8 weeks, the jury was immersed in a torrent of evidence footage. The messages, the connections to Avi and the Cherry Orchard shootings. In January 2025, the jury reached a verdict, finding them guilty. When sentencing day arrived, the judge's words were unyielding. Oregon, now 22, faced 15 years. Singh, just 19, was sentenced to 9 years. Ayani received 5 years. Lidioga 4.5, while Odu and Adipu were each handed 4 years. In total, the gang was condemned to 41.5 years behind bars. Their fate sealed in the annals of justice. Detective Inspector Yoni Aldo of Essex Police delivered a stark message, emphasizing that the allure of gang life inevitably comes with dire consequences. He commended the relentless efforts of both Essex and Met officers, whose 18-month investigation successfully dismantled a violent crew, preventing further loss of life. The message was clear: carrying firearms, filming criminal acts, and posting threats may garner online attention, but it bears significant repercussions in court. For these 6 men, the outcome transcended mere likes or views. It resulted in years of imprisonment. When the sentences were pronounced, 41 years in total, among 6 young men, there were no stories of redemption or remorse, just the harsh conclusion of a grim narrative. The Wyo gang had forged a reputation through intimidation and the commanding social media presence that made them seem invincible. Yet, in the courtroom, that bravado meant little. Were the sentences just? Legally speaking, certainly. Firearms offences in the UK bear significant consequences, particularly when associated with organised crime and violent heists. Throw in a robbery involving a loaded weapon, and the stakes rise even higher, with 2 confirmed shootings and a digital trail of threats and self-incrimination. The reasons behind the court's firm response unfold with clarity. The law serves not only to punish actions, but to convey a deeper message. Yet, it's difficult to ignore the pressing questions that linger. How did a group of teenagers and young men, most under the age of 25, find themselves in a pursuit of power, wielding guns and knives? How many others, like them, are out there, watching, listening, and plotting? The justice system has fulfilled its role, but what of the systems that preceded it? This case stands as a warning. Yes, but it also reflects a troubling reality. It reveals the consequences when reputation is treated as currency and violence is seen as a pathway to status. The streets may be quieter now, with the gang behind bars, but the narrative is far from finished. In another part of London, on another night, Someone else is poised with a phone, ready to capture the unfolding tale.